to the Core, the podcast where we dive into the heart of what makes us human. Join us as we explore the intersection of faith, wellness, sports, and the stories that will shape our lives. In the world where conflicts often line, we're on the quest to uncover the core truth that binds us together. From scared space of religion to the fragile landscape of our physical and mental health, we will venture into the depth of the human experience. We will talk to the athlete who has pushed their bodies to the limit and discover the spiritual practices that fuel their passion. We will hear from individuals who have faced immeasurable challenges and find inspiration in their silence. Through this conversation that are authentic, vulnerable, and thought-provoking, we will examine the intricate web of relationship between our minds, body, and spirit. We will confront tough questions and seek answers that illuminate our shared humanity. On the go, we believe that everyone has a story worth telling, and we committed to share those stories with integrity, empathy, and curiosity. So join us on this journey to the core of what matters most. Let's explore, discover, and grow together. Get to the Go, a podcast that explores the intersection of faith, health, culture, and some human interest stories. You are with me, Faith Marura, your host. Today we are diving deep to explore more about youth and culture. In the studio, I'm not alone. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you describe yourself?
My name is Paul Mandala. I stay in the city of Blantyre, specifically Chilimba, and I'm the youth worker, in which I'm the youth coordinator for the Blantyre City Youth Network.
Okay, so what does identity mean to you and how do you express it?
All right, when we talk of personal identity, I think you're talking of personal identity, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So personal identity to me is the unique blend of personal experiences, cultural background, beliefs, and values that defines myself. And also, it's not static because it evolves as I grow and encounter new perspectives. So each and every time I wake up, I find myself wearing a new identity, having a new identity. That's what I wanted to mean. And also, I express my identity through my creative work, the way I dress, uh, the causes I support, and how I interact with others. It's about being true to myself. Actually, uh, it recognizes, or in recognizing the when we talk of personal identity, it's all about being true to myself while recognizing that I'm part of a larger community. So whatever I'm doing, I need to realize that I belong to a larger part of the community, and that defines identity. according to me.
Okay, so nowadays, how does social media shape your self perspective and relationships?
Uh, this is quite an interesting question because to me, social media can be both positively and negatively affect self perception. Uh, what I'm trying to say is, on one hand, it offers a platform to connect with like-minded individuals and express myself. However, it can also lead to comparisons and unrealistic standards that impact self-esteem. I can give you an example.
Mm.
Almost each and every person is rich on social media. Go on Facebook, you find almost each and every person is rich. People go have their meals at KFC and the stuff. They don't post your real life. So uh, that side can change you because you may start comparing the life you're living in and the life others are living, and you may think you're not making it in life while you are making some headways. Okay, so however, it can also lead to comparisons, as I told you, and realistic standards that impact self esteem. And I try to curate my feed to reflect some positive influences. And I use it as a tool to strengthen my relationships rather than letting it define them.
Okay, so Paul, how do you balance individuality with the cultural expectations?
Yeah, that's where the issue now lies on. Because balancing individuality with cultural expectations is a constant negotiation. You really have to be constantly negotiating with your inner being. I value my personal freedom and self expression, but I also respect the traditions and values of my culture because the society we are living in has its own values. And in whatever I'm doing, I always have to put that in mind. And it helps me to at least define what I want to achieve and why and how. And also, it's about finding a middle ground, honoring my roots while not feeling confined by them. You really not have to be confined, but by the values, by some values in life, because you may be, they may start restricting your activities while you are supposed to be doing some other positive things. And also, I strive to integrate elements of my culture into my individuality rather than seeing them as an opposing forces. That's, yeah.
Okay, in your explanation, I can say you talk about some values. So, how do you navigate cultural difference and stereotype?
Wow, quite a good question, that one. In fact, navigating cultural differences requires mindedness and also some empathy. I try to approach others with curiosity rather than judgment. So, whenever I see people doing something that I feel like it's not right, I don't judge them. Rather, I approach them, talk to them, and learn something. And if maybe I still see that this is something that these guys have to learn something and change, mindset has to change, I try to reason with them as well. And also, not only that, I try to seek some understanding or background of their experiences. When facing stereotypes, especially, I focus on breaking them by being true to myself and challenging some assumptions. Because in life, what I observed, life is full of assumptions. People may judge you based on assumptions, not the realities that they see. And also, dialogue is a key. Talking about our differences helps dismantle some misconceptions. So that's how I navigate some cultural differences.
You are listening to The Core, where we explore the heart of what makes us human. Stay tuned after this break. You got your own values as well as the traditions, but I don't know your tribe. What values or traditions do you want to pass down to future generations?
Yeah, of course, you don't really need to know my tribe, but we can as well proceed talking about this issue because your topic is very important. It's very crucial, um, especially in these days when we are spending much of our time on the social media platforms. So, taking your question, I would want to pass down the value of empathy and also understanding and some caring for others, regardless of their background. And also, another tradition would be resilience. The issue of resilience is very, very crucial when tackling the issues of change and passing down to generations. Um, Teaching future generations how to navigate challenges while staying true to their core values. Very, very important. Not sticking to what they know, not sticking always to what they have been told to be true. They also have to explore more and learn some new things because some cultural values can be twisted, can be changed to suit the current scenarios. I also think it's important to pass on a appreciation for cultural diversity, encouraging curiosity and openness to different ways of life. That's what I believe in.
Okay, so most of the youth, like coping up with some social media, they get like some mental health illness and some like low self-care. So how can you as the one in the society be better to support youth about mental health and self-care?
Supporting youth on mental health care
Self-care.
and self-care.
Yeah.
Um, the issue of mental health is real. We have seen a lot. We have, as a country, in the meantime, we've experienced a lot of some suicide cases and attempts of suicide, especially amongst the young generation, the youth. So, I believe the issue of culture plays a role when tackling the issues of mental health because I can give you an example that in our culture, Malawian culture, the young men, the boys, are told that men don't cry,
Yeah.
and that infringes them, especially when they are growing. And they'll still to show that they'll have to prove to people that they are men and they can't cry. In the end, they commit suicide. So culture plays a role. So there are some things that we need to break on, some things that we need some renovations, some changes has to be effected if we are to sustain some cultural values that will only keep our youth in the good state of mental health.
So what are some cultural trends do you think are most influential among youth?
Uh, the issue of culture now is becoming so dynamic because of the presence of social media. Uh, you can agree with me that the world now is changing. People are copying cultures from different parts of the world simply because they are watching, they are seeing what their friends are doing. So I believe that in whatever young people are doing, they have to know where they're coming from. They have always to strive to keep in mind their core values of life. And also, they have to define what they want to be.
Okay, so you have talked about social media, like been influencing many youth. So how do you think these, like, can you give us some of the examples on how social media influence the shapes of cultural norms?
All right. There are lots of examples that I can give, but maybe for the uh, purpose of this program, let me give you several of them. Uh, for example, the dressing. Currently, uh, I can take you, let me take you to TikTok. What happens to TikTok? People go into their bedrooms and dress and start dancing. That is against our African culture. But people are doing it. And they feel like when they do that in their bedrooms, post it online, it's safe and they're okay. When they are not okay. So those are some of the things that young people have to. And also when we talk of the issue even of respect and isolation. Uh, our background as Africa, as Malawians, we used to live in the communities and we used to keep the interactions. But now there is a lot of isolation. People can be staying in the same room, in the same house, but everybody is chilling out with somebody else. That is a total isolation. So you can be with the community, but isolated. So that is also is changing the norms of our culture. I think for now I can give you those two.
Okay, so what role does education play in shaping cultural values and awareness?
Education plays a very crucial role. That's the reason why, even deliberately from the primary school, even from the nursery, there are cultural days and there are lots of activities that happen at school just to keep the cultural values. And also, education has a very can play a very significant role in making sure that culture is being preserved by, among other things, coming up with some deliberate subjects that can be tackling thoroughly on the culture. And I know of some examples in some books I've read about the Gule Wankulu and the stuff. So it means our education system as well is helping. But also remember when we talk of literature is all about the our cultural norms, most of them. So in English we have literature, which means school as well, education as well, is encouraging in preserving some cultural values.
You are listening to The Core, where we explore the heart of what makes us human. Stay tuned after this break. So, how can intergenerational collaboration foster understanding and empathy?
The problem we have is the older generation thinks the young generation knows nothing, and the young generation thinks the older generation is old enough, they don't know anything about the current trends. So I believe we need to tolerate. Some tolerance has to be there and compromise. If we come together, know what they were doing, they can pass it on to the young generations. And the young generation should be able to learn from the old ones. That way, we will keep our cultural values and move forward as a nation with reasonable cultural norms.
Okay, so what does what role does music, arts, and even creativity expression plays in your life?
There are lots of uh, roles that arts and entertainment play in one's life, especially my life, because arts and entertainment can educate you, entertain you, as well as inform you. So, just as I was talking about the literature and the stuff, through listening to the music, through reading books, through reading novels, you find out what was happening before. You even see how you can even foresee the future, how the things gonna be in the near future. So these things, the arts and the entertainment, music, poetry, and the stuff, they play a very significant role in shaping one's mind, including myself on daily basis.
Can you explain, like, nowadays Malawi have caught up with some music genres from other countries? What are some of the impacts that are coming from music to our culture?
Come on, give me the question, please.
Like, the artists like Zeze and some of the amapiano ones like Tema, Fadamoji, they come up with the certain names from South Africa. So how these like the music genres affect our culture?
Okay. There's what they call the Bantu philosophy, which Africans believe in. We believe, as Africans, we believe that Africans are one. There's some elements in whatever is being done in Africa. That's the reason why you go to Congo, you find some names uh, quite similar to the names of Malawi. If you go to South Africa, you'll find some names, some things that are so similar and so closer to Malawi. So I don't blame the guys when they are doing this type of music. However, uh, it it's of great concern when it's being done uh, in a way that we even forget our own touch. And no wonder this is called the bubblegum music. Uh, some of the artists you've mentioned, they only come for quite a short period of time and off they go. When you think of the artists like Kides Charamanda, the type of music they do, it resonates well with our culture. As such, their music stays longer because they remind us of the old days, then take us back to the village. The songs like they take you closer to home. So I still believe that copying has a negative impact on the culture, and we can really foil our culture if we can't play it well.
Oh, okay. So, Paul, what message would you send to your younger self about navigating youth culture?
Yeah, actually, I would tell my younger self not to worry so much about fitting in. And also, authenticity is more important than following trends or seeking approval. You don't need to seek approval on what you believe in. No way. And you don't need to seek consent. Authenticity. No way. Believe in yourself. I would also say that it's okay to make mistakes sometimes because they help you grow. The mistakes will always help you to grow and grow better. because they will, and also finally, I would remind myself to trust in instincts and stand up for what I believe in, even when it feels difficult.
Wow, thanks for your time.
Welcome.